Howdy, with this video, want to go over Turnitin. That's a plagiarism detector we use here at Northeast State. Actually, it shouldn't be a detector. It should be something the students use prior to turning in their essays. So, I don't end up going, aha, I caught you. You should be saying, wow, Mr. Fish, why is this highlighting a certain part of my essay where I thought I was summarizing or paraphrasing or quoting correctly. And I'll show that here in a second. Just go to the schedule real quick. Today is Thursday, March 1st. Um, uh, According to the syllabus, the career essays due tomorrow, LinkedIn pages due tomorrow. I've given you till Monday to do that. I got other things I need to grade this weekend, and if you need the extra time, please take it. Make sure you turn in what you want. We're getting into some pretty, major grades here. You want to submit what you want me to grade. And of course, if you have any questions about my feedback or feedback on the peer reviews, you want to have time to ask those and get my responses and everything. Next week we're on spring break. Again, with internet students, generally they're still working and doing all this other stuff with their lives, but get some sleep, get some rest, take a deep breath. When we come back, journals 7 through 9 are done. I've got those up on the content page. I'll show those to you real quickly here. One thing that's going to hold you up is I don't want to do the MindTap access until I have to. You get 2 weeks free. I want you to see if you like it, if you want to keep it. Or pay for it. It'll be up to you. We'll use it a little bit for the APA medical essay and for the journal entries. So I might open that up like Sunday or something, so we have a good full 2 weeks of access without having to worry about codes and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I'll do a video showing you how to access MindTap as well. But after we come back from spring break, we do the APA medical research essay. You're going to tell someone's story about a medical topic and put the research into it. This doesn't have to be a life or death situation. I've had good ones on ACL tears. I have a good one on peanut allergies last semester. And of course, I do get some on cancers and things like that. So it can be almost any condition that someone or that you have had to go through, and that was a bit of a process. And you're going to detail that process and compare what that person or you went through with the research that you pull in. It sounds easy. It's a doable essay, but it's a little harder than it first sounds because you got all these different modes of writing you're starting to incorporate and combine, and it makes it a little interesting to work with. Then our last essay will be the doublespeak essay, and that'll take us to the end of the semester. These essays are a little longer, a little more involved, a little more research up front, so you know what you're going to talk about. But they're certainly doable. But that's what we're looking at. Well, not looking at what I want here. There we go. If you want to look at the assignments, they're up there on the content page. There's the medical research essay if you want to look at that. If you want to get, if you really want to get your worrying in ahead of time, you can start looking at the doublespeak essay. It's down here at the bottom. But again, some of these look a little hard at first, but plenty of students have done this, and you're going to be able to do it too. What I really want to show you is Turnitin. One other thing, as you're revising these career essays, don't forget to go back to the help resources page and look at that sample career essay. Notice how she's summarizing and paraphrasing properly, offsetting the long quotes, using quote marks around the short quotes. If some of that got you a little confused, make sure you look at that sample essay. If you want to, you can read through that MLA lecture down here. It's not the most thrilling thing you'll ever read, but it goes back over the basics. And of course, be sure to let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help you, right? So sometimes you can feel a little alone on the internet, but you're part of a class. You had your people help you with the peer reviews, and I'm here to help you, finish that essay. Here's just to get to Turnitin's a little different for you all. But when you see this little binocular-looking thing next to a drop box, that means I've got the plagiarism detector turned on. For the first essay you were writing about yourself, that wasn't really going to be a problem, or it'd be so obvious I wouldn't have to worry about it. When you do your submission, you're going to see under submission that little number 1 or number 2 if you put more than 1 in, or maybe 3 or 4 even. But you're going to go click on that number 1 under submissions, and you should see a little box with a number and a percentage in it pop up once you click on that number under submissions, and that's the plagiarism detector. And sometimes it can be like, what? Like if you're looking under Danny's here, we got a couple with 90 that says it's 96%. Doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily saying you're plagiarizing. It's saying that somebody else has turned in the same thing prior to you. And that's a much different thing. So when Danny put his peer reviews in, because I didn't put up the peer review Dropbox in time, the plagiarism detector said, hey, somebody has already turned in an essay just like this. And of course they have, because they put it in the draft folder. And, so that's, first it's like, whoa, what's happening there? But then it's like, oh, okay. Because he copied that, there's another copy of the same essay. It's gonna pop that up. Of course, if you just copy a Wikipedia article straight off the internet and try and pass it off as your essay, you get the same kind of numbers there. But Danny didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with those peer reviews or anything. It's just how it got submitted there. Let's look at one of these. Generally for the career essay, anything between 15 and 25% is pretty normal. Some of these are even lower than that. So some of you are doing different types of careers though, that a little bit out of the mainstream for internet students, which is okay. But it might kind of ask you to sign your life away. You got to accept the conditions for the Turnitin site. But it's going to pop it up. You get this little taskbar at the side. The red is the plagiarism detector. So it's saying 14% of this essay has already been turned in by somebody else. Again, this is a research essay. That's not shocking. And you're going to see some of it gets kind of silly. And you can see there's a number here that corresponds over here once you click on the number. That's telling you where they're saying this came from. And obviously, I don't think Jason is plagiarizing his own last name, right? It's just saying somebody else named Jennings had a header like this and some essay in the history of the past 10 years or 15 years or however long Turnitin's been working. But you want to go through the essay, see what it highlights. Again, when it's highlighting something like where this number 8 is, it's saying somebody else has turned in this passage prior to the student. But Jason is quoting from here. Somebody else has used that quote before, and he can use it again. He's certainly free to do that. He cited it properly. Nothing wrong with that, right? So as you go through the report, and by the way, I've already looked at Jason's. There's nothing wrong with this paper. Kind of keep that in mind. If you're quoting, it's going to probably highlight the quotes. You may not be the first person in the universe to use that particular passage. Little odd didn't pick up his academic plan. Sometimes that can boost the percentage rating on this essay up to 30% sometimes, if it picks up your academic plan from a previous essay. Well, you're going to see like Northeast State Community College, that's not plagiarism there, it's just using a common phrase. With this long quote here, long quotes are tabbed over twice, right? Or offset, blocked over. The Turnitin's picking it up there and saying you've got this came from somewhere else, but that's exactly what Jason's saying here, right? By formatting it as a long quote and citing a source. So again, that's probably where a lot of that 14% is coming from, right? What's good to see here is with Jason's summary and paraphrase, where he's talking about certain things. Excuse me. Changing weather's killing me. Especially the salary. It looks like it has it in a summary or paraphrase, and it's not highlighting it. That's what you want to see. If it highlights an entire summary or paraphrase, no, they're supposed to be in your own words or sentence structure. Something's gone wrong there, right? And that's why you want to check Turnitin before I do, so you can kind of email me and say, hey, why is this highlighting my summary here? And again, there's another summary or paraphrase, just about how many manufacturing jobs are going to be out there. There's another one. That's what you want to see. It's not highlighting it. It's not saying, hey, somebody else has used this before, or we found this on a website or something. Looks like the summary and paraphrase is in his own words and sentence structure. So the report's looking pretty good there, right? It's highlighting his quotes, which is pretty normal. He's taking that word for word from some source, but he's citing it. No plagiarism. Another thing that's going to get highlighted pretty quickly is the works citus page sometimes. You can see somebody else has used this KD Labasco source. Well, that doesn't mean Jason can either. It's just saying somebody else has turned this in a previous essay. That's not Jason's problem, right? So good looking report there. When you first get into this kind of thing, you can say like, wow, 14%, but really that's pretty low for a research essay. With this medical essay coming up next, it's not unusual to have 25, 30%, and have another perfectly good report just like this one. But again, if it's highlighting summaries and paraphrases, there's a problem. You're supposed to have that in your own words and sentence structure. I'm happy to help you, or you just need to go back and rework it. If it's highlighting your quotes, that's not your problem, as long as you're citing them. But hopefully it's a good tool. There's other functions to this. If you click the e-rater, it'll go, it's like another grammar check. The problem is it's wrong quite often, and it can really confuse students, so I generally don't recommend using it. If you want another grammar check to go through your paper, you can use it if you want to. But again, be careful. It's wrong quite often with punctuation, so you want to be careful there. But again, that's what you should be doing this weekend. You should be getting that LinkedIn page with all the material on it. I listed that in a previous email. But I think it's like good 6 things you're supposed to have on that LinkedIn page by now. So make sure you have all that on there and check that email. Career essay should be coming in by Monday. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm here to help, but I'm going to hush up and get off here. And again, once we start getting into the next essay, we'll get into MindTap and accessing the textbook and things like that. But we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.